We are getting ready for first pitch here inside the Benton Schools Athletic Complex for Conway. It will be the center fielder Sophia King, followed by A.K. Bunting, Allie McMillan, Sage Teague, and Caitlin Conrad playing third. And they will be facing one of the best pitchers in the entire state in Bentonville's fantastic senior, Mackenzie Vaughn.
So Mackenzie Vaughn, she is an outstanding pitcher for this Bentonville staff. She throws a curve, rise, changeup. She is 18-2 on the season. She is also a Missouri State commit. She is a big piece to this team's puzzle, and she's also versatile. She can get the job done at the plate as well.
And we'll be talking about what she does at the plate as we get into the bottom half of the inning as Sophia King slaps the first offering from Vaughn, foul to the left side. The 0-1 put in play down the third base line. Nice grab. Not over to first in time to get the speedy Sophia King.
And right there, Sophia King, that is a great piece of hitting. She does what she just did what she does best on the left side, slapped it down the third base line. As we could see, Casey Wood was playing a little bit off of the line. She really drove that screwball down the left field line.
As a former third baseman, that is a great snag by Wood just to get control of that ball. That brings up A.K. Bunting, who turns to bunt. And she offered at the rise ball.
This is a good position to be in. You're in the top of the first. You get your leadoff hitter on. We'll see what A.K. Bunting does here. I really liked how she just squared around a bunt to move Sophia King, who has a lot of speed, to get her in scoring position.
The 0-1. Bunting takes strike two, low and away, quickly finding herself in a hole. And Sydney, for a two-hitter with the leadoff runner on, this is not a count that you want to find yourself in.
No, it's not, and especially early on, you want to see a lot of pitches, but you want to be really aggressive too.
The 0-2 from Vaughn, swung on and missed for the first strikeout of the game.
You know, it's early in the game, Dorian. These girls are very young. In that situation, though, the top of the first, playing against a good Bentonville team with a good pitching staff, you want to make a little bit of noise early on, put some pressure on them.
Mackenzie Vaughn coming into today's game 18-2 on the year, 112 innings pitches. That one put into play by McMillan softly to the right side. No other choice for Emily Perry but then to get the out at first.
And that's not bad there. She moves Sophia King over. There are two outs, but the good news is McMillan, she just put she put the bat on the ball, so she'll learn from her first at bat and be ready to go for her second one.
That brings to the plate one of the few upperclassmen on this Conway roster, Sage Teague, the catcher. As Vaughn misses with the off speed.
And there's that off speed that we see Vaughn throw. She's more east to west, but she throws that changeup in there, and she does it pretty consistently.
Teague looks at strike one, and as we mentioned, Vaughn, 112 innings pitched on the year, 20 games played, 19 starts. She's given up 75 hits, 24 runs, an ERA of just .623 is the 1-1. Swung on and missed.
And I'm going to talk about the pitching staff as a whole really quickly, Doreen. They have 19 shutouts on this season. That is really unheard of from a pitching staff.
One of the reasons why Chada Hickey trying so hard to get Sophia King here in the top of the first is that one fouled back out of play.
And there we saw Vaughn throw a rise ball. She doesn't throw it often. She usually sticks to being east and west, but that's a great pitch to throw in the count that she was just in.
Conway looking to attack hittable pitches from Vaughn. Here's the 1-2. That one way outside.
I think it's really good for Conway right now, getting Sophia King on. She's in scoring position. It already puts a little bit of pressure on them early in the game.
Not just that, a little bit of a confidence boost, maybe, as the 2-2. Off speed again, misses high. A little uncharacteristic from Vaughn here in the early going, not quite sharp in terms of hitting her spots.
Right, I think so. I think it's going to take a little bit for her to get settled herself, but she's going to find her stride.
The 3-2. Fouled back to the screen, and we mentioned Bentonville's experience. You know, they have all these state championships, but it's important to remember that only 5 of the players on this current roster played in that last state championship game or the last state title they won, I should say, back in 2018. The 3-2. On the ground to short, Perry. In time, over to first for out number 3. Conway Gets a leadoff single from Sophia King, but can't bring her in as we head to the bottom of the first. There is no score yet. You are watching the Centennial State Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
For every moment, for every memory, from that first car to your first home, to your first child, and all the highs and lows that tomorrow might bring. For everything that matters most to you and your family, there's someone right around the corner dedicated to helping you protect what you love. Your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Farm Bureau Insurance. Real service, real people.
For students, it's always more fun to include the arts when you're learning. I mean, just to have expression, to see different forms of entertainment, it always just makes it more fun. And when I heard that my mother was recording different sections that teachers were gonna see, I was excited for the students who will get to use it in their classroom.
Arkansas PBS is a place where everyone can see themselves, where everyone can find themselves, where everyone can be a part of something bigger than themselves.
We want to welcome you in, if you are just joining us, to the 6A State Softball Championship between the Bentonville Tigers and the Conway Lady Cats. Welcome, everybody. Sydney Parr, Dorian Kraft, happy to have you with us. And if you're just joining us, Conway got a good start. They got a leadoff single from Sophia King, not able to bring her around and in. And Sydney, if you're Conway, could you have asked for a better start in a game where Bentonville is clearly the heavy favorite?
Oh no, that was a great start. You know, top of the first, they make a little bit of noise. They were putting pressure on Bentonville's defense. Sophia King is outstanding at the plate. She can do it all from the left side. So to see her step up as a leadoff hitter, a freshman, and get on base for her team, and then some more balls being put in play off of Vaughn, couldn't have asked for a better start.
Bentonville coming to the plate in the bottom of the first. It will be Emily Perry, Kenzie Derryberry, Sarah Watson, then the pitcher Mackenzie Vaughn, and they will be facing the junior from Conway as that one fouled over to the first base line. Caitlin Erickson, who has been outstanding for Conway in the state tournament.
Caitlin Erickson has been outstanding. She does a really great job as a pitcher, keeping the hitters off balance. She likes to mix speeds, and that's what Coach Chada Hickey said, is she wants to keep these hitters off balance.
The 0-1 from Erickson, taken outside for a ball.
Another thing, and the pitches that Erickson throws, is she likes to move it east to west with that curved screwball. She throws a changeup, some rise. She sits around 52 to 55.
Fouled back to the screen for strike two. Perry, one of the 5 seniors on this team, the UCA commit. The team leader in doubles with 15 coming into today's game, and she was instrumental in their state semifinal win over Bryant. Led off that game with a double, ended up scoring on a hit by Mackenzie Derryberry as she takes the 1-2 all the way, and that is a leadoff home run for Emily Perry over the right field wall.
We just talked about Sophia King, Dorian, but Emily Perry leading off with a home run to start the bottom of the first. Outstanding at bat, like you just said. She's a great hitter up at the plate. She gets a lot of extra bases, but she also gets the job done too, hitting home runs, as we can see that curveball off the plate. I mean, driving it over the right field fence. She really stayed on that pitch very well.
The 10th home run on the year for Emily Perry, and that really wasn't a bad 1-2 pitch from Caitlin Erickson.
Not at all. It was off the plate, okay? And Perry still got a piece of it, enough to hit it over the fence, and I honestly don't even think she got all of it. So that was a really great pitch by Erickson.
And what better way to start a state championship game than with a leadoff home run? And that will bring up the shortstop, the junior Kenzie Derryberry. Talk about tongue twisters, folks. You've got Emily Perry, Mackenzie Derryberry, lots of Aries going on in this Bentonville rather. And she leaves that one high.
I know, I'm going to be honest, Dorian, when we were talking to Coach Kent early when he was explaining his players, I'm like, yeah, those are some tongue twisters.
Marvin Eaton behind the plate, checking to make sure that Derryberry did not go around. Billy Wilson says no, so it's 2-0. That one fouled back to the screen.
Kenzie Derryberry, she is a huge piece to this team. Coach Early says a lot that she is their hardest worker. She's the one that's there even when the doors aren't open. She's putting in the extra work consistently to be her very best for her team.
The 2-1. High and outside, and Sage Teague taking a little walk out to the pitcher's mound, trying to calm down her junior starter.
I think, you know, leading off with a homer, that's not exactly what you want to start off the bottom of the first inning, but Sage Teague is huge for Erickson. She really, you know, is a reason why she's so successful.
The 3-1 gets her swinging. That was a nice comeback pitch from Erickson.
That is a phenomenal comeback pitch and a 3-1 count, really attacking her inside with that tight screwball.
Full count. And she gets Derryberry chasing up high.
That is a great pitch by Erickson, throwing that low rise ball a little bit out of the zone to get her to chase in a full count. You know, as a hitter, sometimes it's easy to expand your zone, and it's early on in the game. The thing that I'm loving to see from Erickson right here is she really does spin the ball well. She's more movement than speed, and you love to see it.
No time to take a breath as Sarah Watson steps to the plate. Lets the first one go low for a ball, but these first three hitters in this Bentonville lineup all hitting .435 or above. The 1-0. Teague tries to frame it, but too far outside for home plate umpire Marvin Eaton.
And, you know, to be honest, Dorian, I'm not trying to backtrack here, but that's about the same pitch that Perry hit over the right field fence. It was that far outside. Reminds
me a little bit of Braxton Burnside going after some of those pitches off the plate just so she could have something to hit. The 2-0 skied. Allie McMillan calling for it at short. Camps under it for out 2.
And that's a great job by Caitlin, throwing that rise ball to get her to get underneath it. And the thing that she's doing right here, she's really keeping these hitters, the past two, on their toes. She's throwing it all around, screwball, rise ball, curveball, doing a great job.
Watson sharing some information with Mackenzie Vaughn as Vaughn, the number 4 hitter, steps to the plate. Takes a look at strike one, and it was really Mackenzie Vaughn that got things going for the Bentonville Tigers in that state semifinal over. Bryant hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the first inning, and it was all Tigers from there. Quickly 0-2.
She's quickly, like you just said, 0-2. She first pitch went outside with the curveball, came back in with the screw. She's working really east to west right now against Vaughn. Another thing about Vaughn, you love to see, and we've seen it the whole, you know, the past day and a half, is these pitchers are so versatile too.
Vaughn shows bunt, pulls back, just gets a piece of it to stay alive. And Cindy, I feel like that's something that we don't see as much. We've seen it a little bit over the 2 days. The show bunt and then pull back on that 2-strike. It seems more often than not teams recently have gone to that full baseball mentality of just swing away. The 0-2, fouled back to the screen again.
Right, exactly, to go off of your point, Dorian. We have seen this a lot. You know, maybe this is more of their coach's philosophy with 2 strikes, wanting to really shorten up the swing, just, you know, contact, put the ball in play with 2 strikes. It's not always a bad thing.
The 0-2 to Vaughn. Again out of play, and Mackenzie Vaughn keeping herself alive here, already the 5th pitch of the at-bat.
Also doing that, it allows the hitter with 2 strikes to see the ball better, to be able to track it better. Sometimes without doing that, you tend to chase a little bit.
Mackenzie Vaughn hitting .352 on the year, 31 hits, 10 doubles, 5 home runs. And she takes ball 1. All that for ball 1.
All of it. It's a good at-bat, though. You know, she's behind 0-2. What makes a quality at-bat and an 0-2 count is going 4 pitches after that, and she has succeeded, so this is already a quab.
Thought about it for a second, checked herself before she could swing. I like that, a quab, quality at-bat.
Yeah, when I was at Arkansas, it was a really big deal that even if you didn't get a base hit, you'd come back to the dugout, look at the chart. There's a lot of things that still make an at-bat quality.
I just like the acronym. I've never heard of it, quab. We're going to start using that in the broadcast. If you guys hear it later today, you'll know where it came from, as that one checked back over the stands.
And again, I just want to point out Vaughn, she started the count 0-2, taking 2 pitches looking, and she has really worked this count to back to 2-2, putting herself more in a positive count. So we'll see what she does here.
This will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat. The 2-2. Swung on and missed as Erickson gets Mackenzie Vaughn swinging. But it is Bentonville that strikes first. A leadoff home run by Emily Perry, putting the Tigers out in front as we head to the top of the 2nd. You are watching the Centennial State Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Over 2,500 team members across 17 local electric distribution co-ops, powering homes, farms, and industries somewhere across Arkansas. We are the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Power and people.
Farmers and Merchants Bank and the Bank of Fayetteville share the mission of Arkansas PBS to enrich and empower all Arkansans. Community, dignity, respect. That's what Me Banking is all about. More at mebanking.com.
Support your team and join the conversation on social media with the hashtag ARPBS Sports throughout this game and the rest of state championship weekend. We've got softball going on, we've got baseball and soccer starting today as we take a look at Conway head coach Chada Hickey in her 8th season for the Lady Cats. And she stopped by in the press box a little bit earlier as she was dropping off her lineup. And Cindy, she said she was way more nervous than any of the players.
I guess that's not a bad thing, you know, as long as your players, they're the ones who are playing. As long as they're not nervous, I guess that can't ask for more than that.
I've always thought it's a little bit more nerve-wracking to watch than it is to play. You don't quite have as much control as you do in a player situation. But Conway looking to control this half of the inning as they go Conrad, Conley, Erickson coming up to the plate as that one fouled back.
Talking about Caitlin Conrad, Coach Hickey did talk about she was hitting the hand early in this season. It's been something that she's having to work through. I think we said it was a similar situation of like Hannah Gamble up at Arkansas. Can't mess with the hands.
No, hands very sensitive. She takes that one high for ball number 2, and that was in a game against Bentonville West back on April the 13th. She was hit on the hand by a pitch. She said she's only really now getting back to full strength almost or more than a month later. The 2-1 from Vaughn. Flared out to right, and it's going to drop in just foul.
And you hate that it's been majority of the season that she's having to battle this hand problem. But I guess if she's, you know, now better, what a better time to be better for the state final game.
Well, Conrad, one of the stars of Conway's 5-4 win over Harbor back in the first round, had the walk-off hit that sent them into the quarterfinals against Rogers. And that one sent out to right field. It is deep, but it is playable out there for Ryan Sanders in right field. And so far, they only have the one hit, but they've put some good swings on the balls from Mackenzie Vaughn so far.
They really have, and that's something that Coach Hickey talked about is we just got to come out swinging the bat, you know, putting the ball in play and make Bentonville's defense work. And I think against Vaughn, she has a lot of strikeouts. She's a very successful pitcher, so it's good that they are early on making some things happen.
The freshman Breland Conley taking strike 1.
Breland Conley, she's a freshman who started playing varsity early on in the season. She is dominant on the left side, dabbles in slapping a tad.
Chases that one low for strike 2.
She likes to stand in and swing away, and it's just incredible to see on both teams these freshmen getting the opportunity at the beginning of their careers.
The 0-2 from Vaughn. Swung on, sliced foul. And Cindy, we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast just how young this Conway team is, but in their starting 9, only two seniors out of their entire starting 9. The 0-2.
Right, and that says a lot, you know, those 2 seniors, sure that they are doing a phenomenal job with the younger classmen, really showing them the ropes and helping to lead them. But to have this many freshmen, that's going to be a good amount of years that you're going to build off of, especially for Coach Hickey.
The 1-2. What a pitch to lay off of. That was a nice looking changeup, but a really good job by Conway to hold off of it.
That was a great job by Breland Conley. That's a tough pitch to lay off of, especially with 2 strikes. She got a little bit out in front, but she held.
The 2-2. Line, but right at Derryberry at short.
And that's also not a bad at bat. You know, she got behind in the count, but she worked it back to a 2-2 count, laid off of a really great changeup. You know, we talked about it yesterday. It's a game of inches, and here it is, hard liner to Kinsey Derryberry. And we talked about it yesterday. It's a game of inches. Sometimes, you know, the ball 1 inch to the left or the right makes a difference.
The pitcher, Caitlin Erickson, stepping to the plate.
And here it is, another pitcher who hits. Love the versatility.
Not just hits, but hits for power. Erickson with a big double against Cabot in that state semifinal. And that was a big, talk about confidence boost. That's a big confidence boost for this Conway program. She lays off the rise.
Most definitely, and Coach Cope at Cabot, he does such a great job with his team. Every single year that he's been head coach, he's, you know, really has built that program up. And I mean, a 9-1 game, that's a huge win against a very powerful program.
Foul directly back at the screen. And, you know, I'm pretty sure that Bentonville is probably happy not to have to see Cabot in the state final again anyway. Those of you in Arkansas will remember Bentonville's and Cabot's fantastic 2019 state championship game up at Bogle Park, where the Lady Panthers scored late to upend Bentonville as they went for their 4th straight state title.
And I mean, that just really speaks volume to the Cabot program, but I'm sure, you know, Coach Cope isn't happy right now that he's not in this game. You know, but that's also an exciting win for Conway to get to this point.
The 2-2. Taken inside, and that didn't miss by much.
No, it didn't miss by much, and I think we heard a little bit from the crowd. She threw a great screwball in the inside corner. I guess it just missed just a tad.
It looks like Benton, the 5A champions from yesterday, here is that one tapped on the ground to Perry. Easy out over at first. Conway goes 1-2-3 in the top of the second. We head to the bottom half of the inning with Bentonville leading 1-0. You are watching the Centennial State Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Now, more than ever, community is important. Local schools, businesses, and charities are in need of support. Each one of us can make a difference. When you volunteer, give, shop locally, or simply participate, you help support and grow your community. It makes us all stronger when we all are involved. I'm Susie Everett with Everett Buick GMC. We're proud to be a part of this wonderful community and want to encourage each of you to be involved in yours.
1, 2, 3, turn up! Whoa. What's going on in here? Let's go!
Be the first to know what's happening at Arkansas PBS and get the latest sports updates. Download the Engage Arkansas PBS app today for exclusive content. Bentonville leading Conway 1-0 as we head into the bottom of the second here in the 6A state championship game. A familiar face on the sidelines for anyone who's familiar with Arkansas Arkansas softball is Bentonville head coach Kent Early's been there 19 years. As that one sent out to the right center gap. Casey Wood swinging at the first pitch, thought about trying to stretch it to a double for a second. She will settle for a leadoff single.
That is a great piece of hitting by Wood in the right center field gap, but I'm going to give props to Sophia King. She read the ball right off the bat, took an incredible angle in the gap to cut it off to keep her to only a single.
Peterson, Rushing, and Stafford coming up behind Casey Wood. And if you're Conway, one thing that you can't afford to do is continue to give up leadoff hits to Bentonville if they want to have a chance at controlling this offense.
That's exactly right, Dorian, and that's something every inning you really have to minimize getting your leadoff runner on. I mean, last inning we saw the leadoff home run, but a lot of times you've really got to minimize that.
Trista Peterson, one of the fantastic sophomores on this Tigers team, batting .419 coming into this game, 31 hits. And she fouls that one back to the screen.
Right now, the Bentonville hitters, they're having a little bit of trouble with Erickson's low rise. She's throwing that very well. It's not really jumping too far out of the zone. It's staying low right underneath their hands.
When we talk about comparisons to some of the players that you see at the higher levels, very Mary Half-like, throwing that low rise right in underneath the armpits for the strike. The 1-1. That one stays in the dirt.
Going back to Mary Half really quickly as they're playing in their regionals, she does a fantastic job of throwing that low rise that stays through the zone, but then also a chase pitch out of the zone. And I agree with you. We've seen that from Erickson.
The 2-1. That one missed on the outer half of the plate.
And a similar pattern that I've been seeing from her, she's working these hitters off the plate with a curveball, coming back in with the screw. And then once she's kind of getting ahead in the count, she's throwing that low rise to get them to chase.
Sage T taking a couple steps out, shouting directions at her infield. She's back behind the plate as Erickson set for the 3-1. Swung on, just missed.
And again, this is another count that we're seeing Erickson work back. She was in a 3-1 count earlier, made a phenomenal pitch, and then here she is again in the 3-1 count, getting Peterson to a full count.
There's a 9-pitch at bat to Mackenzie Vaughn in the first inning. This one now on pitch number 6, as it is popped up on the infield. McMillan calling everybody off. She's got it for out number 1.
And that's a great job right there, talking about getting your leadoff runner on, but to get her to pop up and keep her at first base, that's exactly what you want in this situation.
On Sydney, some coaches may be concerned that Erickson already throwing so many pitches this early on, but not Chada Hickey. She expects Erickson to throw maybe 150 pitches in this game. She said she's totally comfortable with that number.
No, right, and she's been doing it the entire season. So like you said yesterday, what's 7 more innings?
Elena Rushing, the junior, slaps it down the line, but foul.
Rushing is a great slapper to implement into this powerful lineup. You like to have a mixture in there where it's not all just power, but she's in the 7-hole for a reason. She really gets the job done.
Gives this Tigers lineup a little bit of a different look. She's leading the team in average. And she is off and running. And Wood in there safely with a stolen base.
And that's a great job by Wood. She gets a really good break, really great timing there, sliding safely into second. She was there way before the ball even got there. Speedy.
Wood up into scoring position for Elena Rushing, who doesn't have a ton of RBIs, 26, comparatively not a ton of RBIs. And RBIs really aren't something you expect to see from lefty slappers, but nowadays it feels like they're a little bit more versatile than they were maybe 10 or 15 years ago. They're not just looking to set the ball down. A lot of these lefty slappers, they can hit and put the ball out in the outfield, giving their teammates an opportunity to score.
No, you're exactly right, Dorian. A long time ago, we saw slappers really just wanting to pound it into the ground. And, we're seeing slappers, lefties, who can do it all. They can bunt, they can, play the short game. They can also stand and hit for power. I've been seeing a lot of slappers here recently, really implementing the power slap, and I think that's crucial.
Something you know a little bit about,
right? Just a little bit. That was my forte, I guess.
The 0-2 gets her swinging. And that is a big out, number 2.
That is a huge out and a phenomenal pitch by Erickson, keeping that on the outside part of the plate. She does a great job of mixing speeds. We saw her take a little bit off there, and that got Rushing out in front.
Conway trying to keep Casey Wood, who led off the inning with a single, from coming around to give the Tigers a 2-0 lead. The sophomore Cadence Stafford standing in now. Looks at ball 1.
And this just says a lot about Erickson, right? She's had a lot of innings pitched throughout the season. And, she has a runner at second. She's found a way to get the job done.
Stafford 443, 35 hits, 2 doubles, 6 home runs. 1-0. Swung on and missed.
That is another great pitch.
That elevated pitch up in the zone, Sydney, as you mentioned, giving these hitters a little bit of trouble here early on.
Right, and I know I said it last inning, but she's really doing a great job of mixing speeds, mixing her pitches. She isn't relying on one side of the plate.
The 1-1. Just a little low. You know, Erickson not really phased either by giving up that leadoff home run to Emily Perry. When they were in the quarterfinals against Rogers, they were up 4. Rogers scored 3. She was very calm about that. She went through the powerful Cabot lineup. As that one fouled back towards the screen, Teague gives chase, just out of her reach. But Erickson very calm no matter what the situation is, and a lot of that credit also, Coach Chattahoochee told us, goes to her senior catcher, Sage Teague.
Right, and she talked about Teague very highly of her, that she is a big piece to Erickson's success.
The 2-2. Fouled back to the screen as Stafford stays alive.
And to go back to your point, Dorian, it's great to have a pitcher who can remain calm, right? I mean, everything stems off of her. So if you're on defense and you see your pitcher getting a little bit rattled, that can maybe tend to make you a little bit nervous and rattled as well.
Erickson threw an 11 strikeout, 2-hit game in that state semifinal win over Cabot. The 2-2. Stafford takes it low as she has run the count full.
And this is a great at-bat by Stafford, but also a great job by Erickson. She's working those pitches off the plate, trying to get her to chase. She didn't chase there, which is a good thing because, I mean, it was clearly off the plate by a bit.
Runner on second with 2 outs for Bentonville, and the count is full. Here's the pitch. Popped up. This one will be playable by Conrad, and she has got it for out number 3. So Bentonville gets a leadoff single but can't do anything with it. As we head to the top of the 3rd inning, Tigers still leading. You're watching the Centennial State Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
This month in Passport on the PBS video app, your on-demand library for the best of PBS.
Born a slave in Jamaica, taken from a mama. This be my story.
I hate the myth of Hemingway. The man is much more interesting than the myth.
There is no alternative to soul.
That on national TV was revolutionary.
These and other shows are available with Passport on the PBS video app. Download it today.
My name is Al Lopez, Papa Rap in the house. I live in Northwest Arkansas via Puerto Rico. Been here since 1994. Desde 94. And really, Arkansas PBS is the one that has taught me about this great community that we have here. Wonderful, beautiful, so much programming, tanta programación for children, for grown-ups. Porque es el canal de Arkansas. This is a real Arkansas channel.
Download photos from the game at myarpbs.org/photos. It is a beautiful day here in Benton for the 6A State Softball Championship. The rain has moved on out. We dealt with a little bit of it yesterday afternoon. These stands are packed as they are here to see the Conway Wampus Cats and the Bentonville Tigers battle for the 6A State Championship. As we've mentioned, Conway looking for their first state title in program history. Their first ever state championship game, for that matter.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is definitely exciting, and right now I think they should be pretty excited keeping it to a 1-0 ball game.
Sydney Weiser, Allison Hall, and then back to the top of the lineup for Conway this inning. And she takes the ball too low.
Sydney Weiser is someone that Coach Hickey talked about being so extremely consistent at the plate. I think that shows from her on-base percentage. It's pretty high.
Looks at strike 1 on the outer part of the plate. Weiser on base just under half the time, 483 coming into today. Hitting 346 for the Conway Wampus Cats as that one put into play. Range over by Wood. Throw was off the mark. And Trista Peterson not able to hold on.
You know, that's really a good play by Wood. That's a, you know, a hard hit ball through the 5-6 hole as she comes across the diamond. She stays down through it. Just the throw was a little bit off, but, you know, good thing Trista Peterson laid out for it. It probably would have gone past her if not.
It's into the book as an E5, so Conway in business with a runner on first.
And here we're seeing Conway get their leadoff hitter on, so a lot of half innings have been played that way.
The Wampus Cats getting the leadoff runner on for the second time in 3 innings as Sophia King got a leadoff single to start the game, but the Wampus Cats not able to bring her in. And Allison Hall, the senior, quickly 0-2.
And that's really a big thing to get your leadoff hitter on. I mean, I'm going to talk about from my experience at Arkansas, that was a big thing that our coaches harped on is, you know, let's get the leadoff hitter on.
Good things happen. The 0-2. And Allie Hall strikes out on 3 pitches.
I want to talk about Sarah Watson really quickly. This is the first catcher Coach Early has allowed to call the game. He is not calling the pitches, she is. And I think that says a lot about her softball smarts. He says that she is a vision and would also probably be a future coach.
King leaves that one low. Important to remember that Sarah Watson only a sophomore, so that indicates the level of trust that Coach Early has in such a young player.
Oh, most definitely. That says a lot about who she is, an athlete and a person.
The 0-1. Back on the ground, up the middle, ranging. What a play by Mackenzie Derryberry.
That was an incredible play by Derryberry. And in the pregame warm-up, Coach Early was hitting her some balls like that. We were seeing her come and throw on the run. Phenomenal job coming to get that on the hop, throwing on the run. You don't see athletes make that type of play often. And Sophia King, super speedy to get her out.
Made that one look easy, but Weiser does move to second on the fielder's choice. That one back up the middle, gloved by Vaughn. Over to first to get the out. That ball hit hard, but Mackenzie Vaughn fielding her position as she keeps Conway from crossing the plate. Bentonville still leading 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the third. You are watching the Centennial State Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Sports is so important to this state and the fabric of the state, and I appreciate Arkansas PBS doing all the state title games, and that makes it available for not just the fans in Central Arkansas, South Arkansas, but fans around the entire state. I can only think of the kids in small towns, and this is the biggest moment maybe in their sports careers, and they have that keepsake of having that game on TV to have with them the rest of their lives.
Thanks, George. Appreciate it. At Big Red Stores, we're always proud to sponsor, support, and partner up with many events and activities throughout the community. Among them, high school championships throughout the state of Arkansas. At Big Red Stores, our team members are always ready to assist you to make your visit with us a pleasant one. And at Big Red Stores, we recognize that none of our support or ability to serve the community is possible without you. That's why at Big Red Stores, you're always the MVP of the Big Red team. Big Red Stores, now more convenient than ever.
Well, welcome back to the 6A state championship between Bentonville and Conway. The student athlete of the game is Rogers Madison Henley, the pitcher and shortstop, carrying a 3.9 GPA as a senior, plans to attend Northeastern State University to play softball and major in finance. I got an opportunity to watch her play in that game against Conway, had a big 2-run double to help Rogers get back into that game. As Erickson starts off the inning with a ball.
Riley Hayes, she's a slapper in this lineup that does a really good job being in the 9th spot, turning the lineup over to get it back to the top. She's also committed to University of Arkansas Fort Smith.
Takes ball too low.
But not for softball. She's committed for basketball. I mean, come on. These athletes, they're so good. It's not even just softball, it's other sports. We've seen volleyball, basketball.
The prevalent thought has seemed to kind of go back and forth between multi-sport athletes and single sport athletes. You know, when I was coming up more years ago than I would like to admit, the thought was you really needed to concentrate on one sport if you were going to get recruited and wanted to be taken seriously at the college level. It seems to have shifted back to now they want to see multi-sport athletes who are good at multiple things.
Right, Dorian, and to talk about that, I mean, my personal opinion, okay, I'm going to give it. I think it's good to be a multi-sport athlete. I think there's facets of each game that help to carry over into the other game. I think it just helps you athletically to be well-rounded.
Well, I do too, absolutely. The 3-1 taken for strike number 2 as Erickson has battled back to bring this to a full count.
And here she is again. She's been behind as a pitcher, but she's worked it back, and that says a lot about who she is as a pitcher. She's very gritty.
The 3-2 from Erickson. Tapped foul. Conrad thought she might be able to get to it. A little bit too far out of her range.
And this is also a good job by Hayes. It's her first time facing Erickson, working it to a full count. You really want to see as many pitches as possible.
Again, the 3-2. Line back up the middle, and that was a rocket off the bat of Riley Hayes.
Right, and Hayes just hit it right back where it came from. Erickson threw her an off-speed pitch, and as a slapper, sometimes that gets you in a little bit of trouble, but she did a phenomenal job of keeping her hands back, waiting, letting it travel to power through it. That's a great hit up the middle.
Sage Teague out to talk to Caitlin Erickson as that brings up Emily Perry, who led off the bottom of the first inning with a solo home run over right field.
And to go back to Hayes, that's what Coach Early said. She does a great job in the 9-hole doing her job, turning the lineup over. Another leadoff hitter getting on base.
Bentonville has had the leadoff hitter in each of the 3 innings as Perry turns to bunt, off and going, but Teague, what a throw to nail Riley Hayes.
That's a great job by Teague. You know, Perry squared around a bunt, pulled back. Sometimes that's hard for a catcher. It gets caught in your vision, but that is a phenomenal job gunning Hayes out at second base, who has a lot of speed. We saw her try to do a hook slide, so that was good by McMillan, really holding on to that to make the tag.
Not to be outdone by the throw, that tag by Allie McMillan to ensure that they got Hayes, and now Emily Perry with an 0-1 count. Fouls it back to the screen for 0-2, and no longer a runner on for a hitter as powerful as Emily Perry.
No, right. That's exactly what Conway needed, though, in that situation, having the leadoff hitter on first. You know, I don't like that. I don't think it's a bad idea that Coach Early just called that. It's still a 1-0 ball game in the bottom of the third.
The 0-2 fouled away. You can't be too careful with Emily Perry. That home run that she hit was on a 1-2 count, so she's not afraid, or I shouldn't say afraid, but she's certainly capable of hitting a 2-strike pitch, 4 extra bases for a home run.
Oh, you're exactly right. And what we saw in her first at-bat, that pitch was off the plate. So similar to what you said, Braxton Burnside, she can hit about anything that's thrown at her.
I'm going to wait until someone pulls out the Vlad Guerrero from back in the day where it hops. And he hits it for a home run as Perry out to right, and that one is off the wall. Quickly in by Sophia King, but Emily Perry with a double. And just like we were talking about on a 1-2 pitch, she hammers it and didn't miss her second home run of the day by much. That was just a couple of inches from going over.
No, you're exactly right. And honestly, I think Sophia King turned around expecting it to go over, but it ended up hitting off the wall. What a great 2 at-bats for Perry. This is a big-time moment. They're in the final game. And again, Dorian, that ball was off the plate that she just hit off the fence.
Her team leading 16th double of the season for Emily Perry. Kenzie Berry stepping in now for an RBI opportunity. Derry Berry struck out in the first, and she leaves that one high.
16th double. That doesn't happen. 16 doubles.
16 doubles, 9 home runs too, or 10 home runs rather, with the home run in the first inning.
Talk about having a season.
And Perry establishing why she's one of the best commits in the state of Arkansas. As we mentioned, we'll play at Central Arkansas next year as Derry Berry chases up high. Coach David Kewen getting a great player in Emily Perry.
Oh, most definitely. Coach Kewen has had a lot of great players come out of the Bentonville program.
The 1-1 left upstairs. You want to talk about great players to come out of the Bentonville program to go to UCA. Jenna Wildeman named to the third-team NFCA All-South yesterday. Of course, she was a standout for Bentonville. Sydney, I know you played against her in high school. You remember her well.
Right, I sure did. We played against one another in high school, and she's so fast. I mean, she leads the country in stolen bases. That is, you know, a big thing in itself.
It says something about the ability of Emily Perry that David Kuhn wants to bring her in because he really favors that lefty-heavy lineup. He said all things even, he'll take a lefty over a righty every single time. The righty has to be able to hit for power, and Emily Perry certainly showing that here today. As that one skied, it will stay on the infield. Conrad calls off McMillan for out number 2.
You're exactly right, and Coach Kuhn, he just does an awesome job as a head coach and has really built up UCA's program. His biggest, you know, motto is speed never slumps, but he also likes those power hitters too.
It's a good problem to have, speed and power. And I'm going to talk about the UCA connections. His daughter Cheyenne, the first base coach for Conway here this afternoon. So this one has stamps of UCA all over it.
Oh, all over it. I wonder if he's here to watch your coach.
Might be here to recruit too. You never know. I haven't seen him running around, but as we mentioned, the stands here today at Benton are full. We had 2 full games yesterday, and again, fans have showed out to cheer these 2 teams on. As Sarah Watson up in the count, 1-0. Erickson still having some success with that rise ball.
Oh, she has been rise ball dominant today. She's really gotten these Bentonville hitters to chase, and I mean, that's exactly what you want. You want them to chase and expand their zone and get outside of themselves.
The 1-1 to Watson. Fouled back over the press box.
And to go back to her throwing this rise ball, she's had a lot of swing and misses on that pitch, and then a few pop-ups. 4 to be exact.
I was just counting the same, 4 pop-ups, 3 strikeouts for the junior. The 1-2, left outside. I don't mind that pitch. It's way off the plate, but I don't mind her trying to, you know, kind of entice those batters, maybe to expand that zone. So far, they've been fairly disciplined on the outside. Hasn't been quite the same case up in the zone. 2-2. Again, fouled back and out of play.
You're exactly right, and I know it's a 2-2 count now, but that 1-2 count, throwing that off the plate to try to get them to chase, you know, maybe they chase, maybe they don't. But then as we see here, she threw a pitch, fouled off, even it back up to a 2-2 count.
Erickson already has thrown a lot of pitches. 7 Bentonville batters have gone to 2-2 or 3-2 counts, and we are just in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 2-2. And she gets Watson chasing upstairs for out number 3. So Erickson works around a 1-out double by Emily Perry to keep this a 1-0 ball game. We head to the top of the 4th. You are watching the Centennial State Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Baseball, the most watched series in PBS history, is coming home.
There he goes.
See how baseball became our national pastime and why this Ken Burns series remains an American classic.
Sign up for our newsletter to be entered to win the entire Ken Burns baseball series on DVD. Riggs Rents, Arkansas's rental equipment provider, from aerial lifts to dirt moving machines and everything in between. Our family-owned and operated business takes pride in serving our employees and customers. Riggs Rents, a proud supporter of Arkansas PBS Sports.
The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Over 2,500 team members across 17 local electric distribution co-ops, powering homes, farms, and industries somewhere across Arkansas. We are the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Power and people.
We never gonna stop.
If you couldn't make it to the game, Arkansas PBS now offers more ways to view the action on demand. Visit youtube.com/Arkansas PBS. Sydney, I don't know about you, but this is one I would definitely want to watch again. We have had a fantastic game here so far through the first 3 innings.
You cannot beat a 1-0 ball game. This has been pretty much a pitcher's duel. We've had both offenses make some noise, but this is definitely a game you're going to want to have.
McMillan, Teague, Conrad up for Conway as we start the top of the 4th inning. Only 1 hit for the Wampus Cats. That was the leadoff single by Sophia King to start off the game. But if you're Conway and you want to get something started, there is no better part of your lineup, and especially no one you'd want up more than Allie McMillan. She has hit a ton as she smacks that one, but right at Derryberry at short.
That's a good piece of hitting by McMillan. It's, again, a game of inches. She hit it directly at Derryberry, and that was a good play by Derryberry, really staying with that ball. The turf, you know, it's a little bit different than the dirt. It stays more true to the hop. But talking about McMillan, she does a great job putting the ball in play.
We've seen Derryberry make a couple of nice plays out there at short, and to your point about it plays true, it does. As that one slapped out of play, foul, but it also plays faster than traditional dirt does.
Oh, most definitely, and as you could kind of see there, she hit the ball extremely hard, but as it was coming to Derryberry, it was picking up some speed.
Sage Teague also hits the ball hard as the 0-1. She looks at the off speed from Mackenzie Vaughn for strike 2.
That's a great pitch by Vaughn. 0-1 count, coming back with that changeup and an 0-2 count. Now she's working ahead.
Mackenzie Vaughn, an all-conference player as a sophomore. That one ripped right at Casey Wood.
Talk about some defense. This is 2 back-to-back hits that have been missiles. Casey Wood and Kinsey Derryberry just fielding their position well. I don't think she had much time to react to that, but she did a good job getting it. Look at her with the snag.
I can tell you that is definitely a ball that catches you more than you catch that ball. Just right place, right time. And that is why I always wear a mouth guard. I like my teeth. I didn't want one of those in the face.
Oh, no, right, Dorian. You have your teeth for the rest of your life. Softball only lasts for a short period of time.
One of the things that stands out to me about this Bentonville team is actually the only one you see wearing the face masks that have become popular is Mackenzie Vaughn. The rest of the infield not wearing them.
Right, and I'm going to be honest, I'm a big advocate for the face mask, especially if you're a pitcher. Like I just said, you've got your face for the rest of your life. Softball only lasts for a short period of time. There's nothing wrong with it.
The 0-2. High and foul, but out of play.
And you know, a pitcher that we've seen get hit, or you know, if you know who she is, it's Paige Lowry. She pitched at OU. She got hit back in the face, and she threw hard. She was a lefty pitcher. She threw around 70 to 75 at times.
Coming back at you fast.
Oh, my gosh. So she started wearing a face mask once that happened.
The 0-2, that one smoked out to left. What a catch.
Elena Rushing with the grab.
Oh my goodness, Elena Rushing robs Caitlin Conrad of what looked like a surefire base hit to ensure that Bentonville stayed in the lead. The Tigers up 1-0. We head to the bottom of the 4th. You are watching the Centennial State Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
I'm Logan Duvall.
And I'm Lauren McCullough, and we are pleased to represent Arkansas PBS as the host of these first installments of the new segment series, Good Roots.
Good Roots will explore the culture and innovation of small towns across the state of Arkansas. Tune in for Arkansas Week or find us online.
You know, I think sports are really big to a lot of people, and because it's an important part of our fabric in our community. And the one good thing about what I've seen is it's high quality production. You know, you think of the small communities all over Arkansas, it's a big deal that they can turn on the TV or DVR or whatever and know they're going to get a quality product. And so I think it just expands the focus of what PBS is doing. You know, Arkansas PBS is doing a great job, and I think it's part of education.
And welcome back, everyone. Let's look at this catch by Elena Rushing. She turns and goes and gets the grab off the left center field wall. Phenomenal play. That's a big-time moment. Talk about some defense. Bentonville's defense, I mean, wow, that was 1, 2, 3 plays.
We've seen a little bit of everything in this game, a little bit of hitting, a little bit of pitching, and a whole lot of defense. And speaking of pitching, it's a pitcher versus pitcher as Erickson comes to the plate against Bentonville pitcher Mackenzie Vaughn, and Erickson got the best of Vaughn in the last inning, struck out Vaughn on a full count.
Right, she did get Vaughn on a full count, and that was a really good job pitching to Vaughn. He's a powerful hitter by Erickson. They worked the count. They went numerous pitches.
Pops her up, but back and out of play.
Talking about Vaughn, she is great on the mound, as we've seen. She's great at the plate. She also was the Democrat Gazette Arkansas Player of the Year. That's a big-time accolade.
I was a freshman back in 2018, and Kent Early joked that they've actually had Mackenzie Vaughn for 7 years instead of 4. She started tagging along to varsity practice as a 7th grader with her sister Morgan Vaughn, and that'll make her sister proud. Just slices a single out there to right field to start the inning.
And that's a great job by Vaughn. That's a curveball off the plate. You know, that wasn't on the plate. That was a little bit off of it. She really stayed on it and stayed through it, getting it over Sydney Weiser's head.
And is the 4th time in 4 innings that Bentonville has got the leadoff runner on, and now we are going to see a courtesy runner, rather, for Bentonville, Sydney Ruda.
And to go back to that, 4 times getting the leadoff hitter on, that's something to be proud of as an offense. I know it's still a 1-0 ball game, but that's exactly what you want every inning, to get that leadoff hitter on, and they've executed that well. Now they can just figure out a way to move her from first to home.
Well, that brings up Casey Wood, who tattooed the ball off the fence in her first at bat. It went for the long single to lead off the bottom of the 2nd. Wood pops up the bunt. Teague there to make the grab.
And in that situation, that's not ideal. That's not what you want. Erickson throwing that low rise. She knew what Wood was going to do. She knew that she was going to try to sacrifice bunt to get Vaughn moved over to 2nd. And that's a great pitch in that situation. She got exactly what she wanted for her to pop up the bunt.
Credit to Conway head coach Chada Hickey, who calls the pitches for this team, knowing Sydney, as you mentioned, she was going to likely be sacrifice bunting in that situation, calling the rise ball. Got exactly what she wanted. Is that one again up in the zone? Fouled back by Trista Peterson, who popped up to Allie McMillan at short, her first time up.
I think we're going to continue to see Erickson throwing these Bentonville hitters up in the zone until they can show her otherwise.
And you mentioned it at the beginning of the broadcast. Normally, Erickson not as much of a rise ball pitcher. Traditionally likes to move it east and west, but right now the rise ball has been what's effective.
Right, exactly. And I think as a pitcher, you have pitches that you heavily rely on, but I think it also depends on what type of offense you're facing. Just that given day, something might be working more than other pitches.
The 0-2, that one hammered. Does it stay fair? Yes, it is. Marvin Eaton signals home run, and that is a blast.
That's a great job by Trista Peterson. We just talked about Erickson throwing them up in the zone, as I said, until they can prove her differently, and Trista Peterson did. This pitch is elevated in the zone. She kept her hands up and above the ball, blasting it over the left field wall. And that didn't just barely clear it. That ball cleared it by a long shot.
The 5th home run for the year for Trista Peterson, cleared that 200 mark by a long way. They're gonna, it looks like we had a conversation. I heard some booing.
I want to talk really quickly, Dorian, about that home run. This now marks Bentonville's 50th home run for their season, tying their record for Bentonville overall, their single season home run record, tying it at 50.
It looks like there was some question about whether or not that ball was going to be fair or foul as it crossed the pole. And they will say it is fair as we play on here. And it is the defensive star of the last half inning, Elena Rushing, coming to the plate. And Cindy, talk about a momentum swing. You have that ball that was hammered that Rushing tracked down at the wall, and then Bentonville comes in here and gets a huge 2-run home run. And now it just feels like the momentum is totally shifted into the Tigers' dugout.
You're exactly right, Dorian. Momentum is a huge part of this sport. Going off of what the play that Rushing made out on defense, coming now offensively, I think this inning of their offense stemmed from her making that great grab.
And sometimes that's just how it happens. Your defensive plays can bleed over and roll over into jump-starting your offense.
Oh, most definitely. That's usually how it happens, right? You have a big defensive inning, you can come in, get the job done offensively. And that's something that this team does. They have every piece to the puzzle. They're phenomenal in the circle, on defense, at the plate. They're the total package.
The 1-2 to Rushing. Fouled out of play.
I'm seeing Erickson right now throwing a lot of off-speed to Rushing. She did the same thing to Riley Hayes in the 9-hole, and she blasted it back up the middle. But right now, she's consistently throwing Rushing off-speed pitches, and that's a pitch that's pretty tough for a slapper.
Now you led me right into what I was going to say as she looks at a ball on the outer half of the plate. As a lefty slapper is approaching, they're moving, and so is the ball, so it can make the timing really an issue.
Right, exactly, and in that situation, when you pick up changeup as you're moving through the box, it is crucial that you keep your hands back and you let the ball travel.
The 2-2 in the dirt for ball 3. I'll have to take your word for it. I was never fast enough to be a slapper. No one ever thought to turn me around from the left side. They're like, oh, you just hit from the right side, you're fine.
Hey, being a power hitter on the right side, there's nothing wrong with that.
We all have our strengths. You play to them.
Exactly.
Not everyone is meant to be super fast. It's fine.
No, not at all.
Bentonville leading 3-0 in the bottom of the 4th. And Erickson responds to the home run with a strikeout of Elena Rushing.
We really talked about Erickson earlier, the type of pitcher that she is, how she remains calm, and that is huge to come back after a home run is hit off of you to get that next batter out.
The 4th strikeout of the day for Caitlin Erickson, and now Cadence Stafford steps in 0 for 1 on the afternoon. Ball 1 in.
Cadence Stafford, she's another athlete on the team who gets the job done at the plate and out on defense. She was ranked number 75 outfielder for the 2023 class.
And she takes that one low for ball 2 as well. And just another example of the talent that Bentonville not only has, but the talent that they have coming behind them. 2 of their sophomores are already rated by extra innings softball. And I mean, that in and of itself is an incredible to have 2. Is that one fouled back and out of play? And it's not just the fact that they're rated. I don't think that they rated recruits when I was coming out of high school, or at least certainly not during your sophomore year.
No, right. And I'm going to be honest, it wasn't even really prevalent whenever I was playing. It came more from your summer ball. You didn't see it so much when you're playing for your high school team, so that accolade is huge.
The 2-1. Swung on and missed upstairs.
And there's that rise ball again by Erickson. But to go back to your point, Dorian, to be ranked within the top 100 and across the entire country of high school players, that says a lot about who you are as an athlete. And she's still so young.
The 2-2 from Erickson. Fouled back to the screen. Stafford along with Casey Wood are the 2 players for Bentonville that are ranked already in that class of 2023.
And I don't think Coach Early has heard about it at all. He's got 2 sophomores that are ranked that are going to be with him 2 more seasons. So that has to be exciting for him.
He looks on as the 2-2 is delivered. And Erickson gets Stafford swinging to end the inning, but not before Bentonville can add 2 more, courtesy of a home run by Trista Peterson. The Tigers up 3-0 on Conway. You are watching the Centennial State Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
For every moment, for every memory, from that first car to your first home, to your first child, and all the highs and lows that tomorrow might bring. For everything that matters most to you and your family, there's someone right around the corner dedicated to helping you protect what you love. Your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Farm Bureau Insurance. Real service, real people.
This past year has felt like a marathon in many ways, with each of us working to reach the finish line. We are happy we can make this journey together. Arkansas PBS is over halfway to our goal of adding 3,000 members by June 30th. If we succeed, we receive $21,000 from our Ambassador Circle. If you're not yet a member, you can help us reach the finish line. Call or go online today.
Play ball. Win the full Ken Burns Landmark Series Baseball DVD set by signing up to receive our newsletter at myarpbs.org/signup. We head to the top of the 5th with Bentonville leading the Conway Wampus Cats 3-0 here in the 6A state championship as that one fouled off the bat of Breland Conley as she tried to pull it back.
That's a tough pitch coming up and in at your hands when you're trying to square around a bunt. She's trying to make something happen. It's really hard to pull back on that pitch. At first I thought it hit off of her hand. I was a little nervous.
One of those unfortunate defensive fouls, just trying to protect yourself. Can't quite get the bat out of the way in time. So Mackenzie Vaughn delivers the 0-1. That one looked at for strike number 2.
Vaughn is most definitely looking at these past 2 pitches, trying to throw Breland Conley tight inside.
Vaughn now working with a 3-run lead, and just in those 2 pitches and the couple of warm-up pitches, it feels like that she's picking up a little bit of steam.
Oh, most definitely. I think with those 3 runs, that's some assurance, and so she's on the mound back to work. She's been going at these hitters the entire game. But you're exactly right, Dorian. Top of the 5th, she's got a little more pep in her step.
That one called for strike 3 on the outer part of the plate. A little bit of a tentative call there by Marvin Eaton at home plate, but it is a strikeout for Mackenzie Vaughn as she has crossed the 50-pitch threshold here in the state championship.
Right, and I think if you're Breland Conley, you're not feeling too great about it, but with 2 strikes, the pitch is close. You're in that sort of count.
Caitlin Erickson looks at strike 1. Mackenzie Vaughn came into the game with 124 strikeouts, so very high volume strikeout pitcher. Only 3 strikeouts here this afternoon.
Right, and we've kind of seen that common trend over the past day and a half as these pitchers have high strikeouts over the season. And then yesterday, I think it was the Greenwood-Benton game. Benton's pitchers had a lot of strikeouts, but they had more balls put in play. I think just in this moment, that's what these hitters are wanting to do. And I mean, she's still getting the job done.
Erickson fouls that ball back. Tuesday Melton, of course, the winning pitcher in that game between Benton and Greenwood. And Sydney, you're right, Tuesday Melton came into that game with nearly 200 strikeouts on the season. Was had 2. Still was named the 5A state champion MVP for her team. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed by Erickson. Wood throws it down to first. He'll drop 3rd strike, and back-to-back strikeouts for Mackenzie Vaughn.
And that's the thing about pitching is you know what your strength is, but there's days where you're going to have strikeouts. There's days where hitters are going to put the ball in play, but as long as you're getting the job done, can't complain about it.
All outs count the same.
Exactly.
In steps Sydney Weiser. She reached on an error in the top of the 3rd inning. That was that fantastic snag by Casey Wood over at 3rd, but a little wide on the throw. Just one of 2 Conway hitters to reach base and reach 2nd base at that. Sophia King in the 1st inning, and then Weiser in the 3rd. And she taps that one behind her. But other than that, this has been a fairly dominant performance by Mackenzie Vaughn.
Yeah, Vaughn's been stellar on the mound for her team. She has really limited the Conway hitters at the plate to not, like you said, getting 60 feet at a time.
The 1-1. Just a bit outside. Weiser takes it for ball 2.
And now, I really haven't watched Vaughn a lot, but just in this game, watching her right now, she is a bulldog on the mound. She is going to come at you.
The 2-1. Swung on and ripped through the 5-6 hole. Sydney Weiser comes up with Conway's 2nd hit of the afternoon.
I'll tell you, Sydney Weiser, she's seeing the ball well. That ball was ripped through the 5-6 hole. That's another great piece of hitting, putting the ball in play. That ball was tight inside, screwball. She worked her hands inside to drive it.
We are going to get a pinch runner for Conway. Number 1, the freshman Ella White on to run for Weiser. And if you're Conway, this is the type of thing you wanted. Yes, there's 2 outs, but you're looking for anything right now to get you a little bit of momentum as you're getting into those final couple outs.
Right, as you just said, they're in the top of the 5th inning, so there's 3 more innings left of work. Right here, a 2-out rally, that would not be a bad thing for Conway at all.
Allie Hall struck out on 3 pitches in her first at bat. Takes that one for strike 1.
And being the first at bat, she's trying to get settled. This is her 2nd time seeing Vaughn, so she'll probably see more pitches here.
Chops that one back behind the plate. And for Conway, as much as you want Allie Hall to roll this back up to the top of your lineup, if she does in fact get out, you at least have some comfort in knowing that you've got things to start over at the top of the in the top of the 6th inning. Is that one, again, another late call for a strike, and Allie Hall goes down on 3 pitches as Mackenzie Vaughn works around a 2-out single. She K's the side, and we head to the bottom of the 5th inning with Bentonville leading 3-0. I think it's important for Arkansas PBS to have sports because it provides sports on a greater platform to the entire community. And it also gives people in various other communities an opportunity to see other schools and other athletes and to have a greater appreciation for not just their own community, but the sports that are available across the state of Arkansas. There are so many lessons that sports provides, and it's one of the reasons why it's so important to the next generation of athletes coming up.
John's Honda, your hometown dealer for sales and service of Honda motorcycles, ATVs, Honda generators, and Honda lawnmowers. Family owned and operated since 1967, John's Honda offers factory-certified technicians and experienced sales staff.
The Cherokee Nation, our people, our culture, our history, our future. To learn more, go to visitcherokeenation.com and say hello to the Cherokee Nation.
You are watching the Centennial State Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports. For a DVD copy of any of the state championship games, go to M&M Productions to place your order. That's mmproductions.net. Bentonville leading 3-0 here in the bottom of the 5th in the 6A state championship between the Tigers and the Conway Wampus Cats. It'll be Hayes, then the top of the order, Emily Perry and Kenzie Derryberry for the Tigers in this part of the inning. Hayes fouls the first pitch back. She singled in her first at bat back in the bottom of the 3rd.
And boy, did she. It was a great piece of hitting as she drove the ball back up the middle.
Hayes caught stealing for the first out of that inning on a great throw by Sage Teague. A great catch at second by Allie McMillan. That one stays off the plate for ball.
And another thing about Hayes is that we saw in her first at bat, she slapped, she moved through the box. Now we see her standing in and swinging away. And that's what makes these left-handed hitters, these slappers, so good, is they have so many tools putting pressure on the defense.
The 1-1 leaves that one high for ball 2. Hayes hitting .417 coming into the state championship game.
And this is why she's in the 9-hole. Last time that she came up, she was the leadoff hitter for that inning. She's the leadoff hitter again, trying to get on base to get it back to the top.
Bentonville has gotten the leadoff runner on in every inning. That one fouled back and out of play. Evens the count at 2-2. Bentonville 3 runs on 6 hits. And those 3 runs have come on via 2 home runs. The first, a leadoff by Emily Perry. That one back and out of play. And the second, a what we will say potentially controversial home run by Trista Peterson in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Conway fans here at the Benton Sports Athletic Complex definitely thought that ball was foul. Obviously, Bentonville very happy that the call stood, that it was fair. The 2-2. Flared back and out of play. Nice catch there in the stands. Little dab, add some flair to it. Get that man a glove.
Yeah, get him out on the field. I mean, come on.
Got my glove in the car. Brought it to the press box. It's a very small window that's open in front of us. You never know. Got to be ready.
Never know what could happen. Crazy things happen in softball. I think I saw the softball got stuck in her face.
I saw that. That was
yesterday.
Texas A&M off a foul ball. She fouled it off of her hands. It rolled back up and got stuck in between the brim of her helmet and the face mask. The 2-2. That one again out to center field. Sophia King able to track it down, and that is the first time today that Caitlin Erickson has been able to retire the leadoff batter.
I think that's good, you know, being in the bottom of the 5th. She's given that up 4 times, but for the 5th time, it wasn't the charm. I know it's 3 times the charm, but not 5th time. That was a great job by Sophia King. She turned her hips, really great drop step there to go catch the ball as it cut the opposite way. She did a good job recovering. She is really solid in center field for this team. Coach Hickey also said she's robbed a couple home runs this year.
And to the plate steps Emily Perry as she takes ball 1. Perry 2 for 2 today, the leadoff home run to start the scoring for Bentonville in the bottom of the 1st, and then crushed a double off of the fence in straightaway center field, only missing her 2nd home run by a few inches. Erickson trying to stay high and out of the zone to Perry.
Yeah, and this is another senior that Coach Early has talked highly about. She's very instrumental for this team. She's also helped her team to now set the tie the single season home run record for Bentonville.
The 2-0. Taken inside for a strike. Perry didn't like the call.
That was a good pitch by Erickson. It was tight. She didn't like it, but it was a great pitch by Erickson to now be 2-1.
Erickson determined not to give Perry anything to hit as the 2-1 way up and out of the zone.
And talking about Perry, she has had 2 great at-bats, and sometimes you'll see pitchers lose it a little bit when they're facing a hitter who's been so dominant in a game. But Erickson right now, she's going at her. She's behind on the count, but she's still going at her.
Perry very comfortable in high-pressure situations, had a 3-run double in the 2019 state championship as she fouls that one back. That was the double that gave Bentonville the lead over Cabot at that point. They had been trailing 1-0. Of course, the Lady Panthers eventually coming back, winning that state championship game 5-3. But Emily Perry, you know, we've talked about the senior leadership. She is one of the players that has been through everything with this team. The 3-2 popped up. Teague gives chase and makes a nice catch against the screen.
That's a great play by Sage Teague. That's a tough play to turn, pop up out of your catcher stance and to go grab that. Just barely stayed away from the net as she grabbed a hold of it to make the grab. Again, here it is. She even threw off the face mask.
We've seen a couple of nice plays made by catchers here so far this weekend. Chloe Creekmore making a really nice one in the 2A state championship game yesterday. As Kenzie Derryberry steps in, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop-up, but they're going to say that pitch hit her as she takes first. So Erickson puts Derryberry on with a hit by pitch. And with 2 outs, Sarah Watson will come to the plate. As Chada Hickey goes out to talk to Caitlin Erickson. And even with 2 outs, Bentonville getting into the very powerful part of their lineup. Watson, Vaughn, and Wood coming up. It really just looks kind of right now like Chada Hickey having a conversation with her starter, just kind of talking things over.
Yeah, I don't think she is going to take her out right now. It's still a 3-0 ball game. She has really thrown a great game. I don't think she plans on taking her out. I think she's just trying to, you know, how are you feeling right now? What's going on? Talk to me. Okay, now she just gave her a little bit of a fist pump. Now let's work through it. Let's get back in the dugout so we can get on offense.
Conway really riding or dying by Caitlin Erickson. 157 innings pitched coming into today. 668 batters faced. Their other pitcher, Allie Hall, only has thrown 27 innings. So this is really Caitlin Erickson's game. Starts off Watson with a curve on the outside. Sarah Watson, we've mentioned a couple times, only a sophomore, already calling her own pitches, but getting known for her bat as well. She hit 680 the week of March 30th through April 6th as she takes ball 2 high. She was 17 for 25 with 13 RBIs and 3 home runs over a 6-game stretch.
Talk about a 6-game stretch. I mean, my gosh, doing some damage at the plate.
It's a good season for a lot of players, let alone a week. As she rips that one to dead center field. King back to the track and makes the grab for out number 3. Watson gave it a ride, but King there to make the play. As we head to the top half of the 6th, Bentonville leading 3-0. You are watching the Centennial State Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Baseball, the most watched series in PBS history, is coming home.
There he goes.
See how baseball became our national pastime and why this Ken Burns series remains an American classic.
Sign up for our newsletter to be entered to win the entire Ken Burns baseball series on DVD.
Let me take you for a ride on the baseline.
Without you, Arkansas PBS would not be possible. Consider becoming a member to support Arkansas high school sports today at myarpbs.org/donate. Conway down to their final 6 outs here in the 6A state championship. They will have the top of the order coming to bat in King, Bunting, and McMillan as they try to get something going against Mackenzie Vaughn, who has had a spectacular game, 65 pitches, 48 of which have been strikes for the senior. King hits the first pitch she sees, just slices foul down that left field line.
That is a great job by Sophia King. First pitch out of the chute, really attacking that. But I'm going to talk about this, Dorian. They're in the top of the 6th inning. They're down to their last 6 outs. This is exactly who you want to be up at the plate. This is someone Coach Hickey wants to be up at the plate. She says, as Sophia goes, we go.
King has done an excellent job in this leadoff role. Batting .410 on the season is the off-speed fouled out of play.
And the thing about King is she's a slapper. She's a very aggressive slapper, and that's something that you love to see. She's not afraid to hit early in the count and to really try to do damage, but that's also her job, keeping the defense on their toes, really trying to create some chaos.
She'll be forced to hit in Mackenzie Vaughn's count as she delivers the 0-2. Good job to stay alive.
And as we can see here, Mackenzie Vaughn, she's really trying to work King off that outside part of the plate, and she's doing a great job staying on it.
King singled back in the first and then grounded into a fielder's choice in the 3rd on a fantastic ranging play by Kenzie Derryberry at short. Back up the middle. Easy play for Vaughn over to first in time. 1-3 for the first out. AK Bunting now to the plate for Conway, 0 for 2. Swings and misses at the first pitch.
It's a great first pitch by Vaughn, being an 0-0 count, first pitch of the at-bat. She's down to her last 6 outs. I think we're going to even see her more vamped up going at these batters.
And the one thing with Mackenzie Vaughn today, she hasn't really overpowered these Conway hitters with speed. It's all about spin and placement. That one lined right at Pacey Wood at 3rd. And that has been some of the tough breaks for Conway today. They've hit the ball well, but they've just been right at the Bentonville fielders.
Right, Dorian, they really have hit the ball well. They've had some great at-bats. It has just been right at them. And going back to Elena Rushing, making the incredible grab, you know, on another day that might be a double, maybe even a triple.
McMillan skies one. Perry underneath it for out number 3. Conway 3 up, 3 down as we head to the bottom of the 6th with Bentonville still leading 3-0. You are watching the Centennial State Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
For information regarding COVID-19 vaccine clinic locations, call the Arkansas Department of Health Vaccine Clinic Call Center at 1-800-985-6030.
Now, more than ever, community is important. Local schools, businesses, and charities are in need of support. Each one of us can make a difference. When you volunteer, give, shop locally, or simply participate, you help support and grow your community. It makes us all stronger when we all are involved. I'm Susie Everett with Everett Buick GMC. We're proud to be a part of this wonderful community and want to encourage each of you to be involved in yours.
Blueberry's Clubhouse is back. Check out with Blueberry, Max, and their new friends at camp beginning in July. See the complete schedule at myarpbs.org/schedule. The Bentonville Tigers getting ever closer to their 4th state championship in the last 5 years. We are in the bottom of the 6th, and they will have a chance to add some extra insurance runs as Vaughn, Wood, and Peterson come to the plate. Vaughn singled and scored on the Trista Peterson home run back in the bottom of the 4th inning that really gave the Tigers this cushion. And she takes a look at strike number 1, and as I just mentioned, this would be Bentonville's 4th state championship if this score holds in the last 5 years, but they have played in multiple state championships dating all the way back to 2010.
And only winning 3 since 2010. They've been there almost every year, so I'm sure they will be glad to add a 4th.
Sydney, do you want to talk a little bit about that 2014 state championship game?
I don't know if Coach Early wants me to.
Well, if this score holds, I'm sure he won't mind. All will be forgiven as Sydney's North Little Rock team beat this Bentonville team back in 2014.
Yeah, we sure did. In my time playing at North Little Rock, Coach Early, he actually dates back to coaching against my dad when my dad coached at North Little Rock. But we would always go head to head. That was a tight state championship game back in 2014.
Casey Wood, the sophomore, stepping in now, 1 for 2. As she flares that one over the head at first. The throw by A.K. Bunting gets away, and Wood heads up base running, takes second.
That is some heads up base running by Wood, seeing that the ball is overthrown, getting to advance to second. Now they have another runner in scoring position.
It was a tough play there for A.K. Bunting at second. That ball just flared over the head of Sydney Weiser at first, had some spin on it, trying to make a play on the speedy Wood. As a result, Wood on second on the single and the error by Bunting. It was the first error of the afternoon for Conway.
And that's something in this type of situation, playing on a really high stage, you've got to minimize your amount of errors. Keeping it to just 1 error on the day, playing on a turf field, they're not really used to that. It's not bad.
And that brings up Trista Peterson. Erickson smartly staying away from Peterson, as it was Peterson who hit the monster 2-run home run in the bottom of the 4th inning, clearing that foul pole over in left field.
Right, and on that pitch, she threw her up and in, and she was able to get to it and stay through it. So in this at-bat, I'm sure she will continue to stay away from Peterson.
The 1-0 up in the zone, but fouled back out of play. Teague runs out of room. And Sydney, to your point about the rise balls, that's the beautiful thing about the rise ball. They can be really effective, but they're also easier to elevate.
Right, exactly. And when you're a hitter and you face a pitcher who's throwing consistent rise balls and you're able to see her throughout numerous at-bats, you kind of know what to expect as the game progresses.
The 1-1 high and out of the zone. And speaking of rise ball pitchers, Mary Half getting the start today for number 6 Arkansas as they start the Fayetteville Regional today against the Manhattan Jaspers. They are leading 1-0 after 2. Of course, that regional, the reason why we are having this state championship weekend at the Benton Sports Athletic Complex here in Benton.
Right, and you know, they're not able to play at Bogle, but this Benton field, their facilities here, they're really good for a high school.
It's okay, there are a lot of B's in that sentence.
Bogle, Benton, Bentonville.
Talking can be a lot harder than it looks, folks, I promise you. And the fans have certainly come out to support the state softball championships this weekend. That is ball 4 high. So Bentonville with 2 on and 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Kent Early coming out to talk to home plate umpire Marvin Eaton. It looks like we're going to get a pinch runner for Trista Peterson.
In this situation, I'm sure Coach Early is wanting a couple more runs on the board as Conway, like we've talked about, they have had some really great quality at bats. They've hit the ball hard. It's just been right at the defenders. And another thing that Coach Early talked about when we spoke is that their motto this whole year has been to be just 1 run better, attack every pitch. Right now, they're 3 runs better than Conway. We'll see what ends up happening in the bottom of the 6th.
That is number 21, Hallie Robison, in to run for Trista Peterson at first. Early getting some state championship experience for some of the players that'll be back next year. Line ball by Bunting. It is a double play as Bunting able to catch Robison off of first, and that is going to end the inning. And there's a little bit of confusion just to make sure. Erickson with the ball runs over to third to make sure that everyone is in fact out. No signal yet from the field umpires as they put their hands out. It looks like they are in fact going to say that that was a double play. They are waving both teams off the field, and that will end the inning with Bentonville leading 3-0. Conway will try and keep their season alive when we come back.
The Arkansas Citizens Access Network gives you a front row seat to your state government. Live stream board and commission meetings, press conferences, legislative proceedings, and more. Events are also archived for 30 days. Receive updates right on your phone by texting ARCAN to 313131. Be informed and get involved at myarkansaspbs.org/ARCAN.
Blimey.
Quite something, isn't it?
Watch entire seasons of your favorite shows from Masterpiece.
Well, one thing is clear.
Time is not on our side. With Passport on the PBS video app. Binge your favorite and the latest shows from our huge collection of dramas.
I'm looking forward to all sorts of things.
Oh, how exciting.
Or catch up on episodes you've missed.
Go on then, what are you waiting for? Downton is catching up with the times we live in.
These and other Masterpiece shows are available with Passport on the PBS video app. Download it today.
You are watching the Centennial State Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports as the Bentonville Tigers leading Conway 3-0 here in the top of the 7th. And you may have noticed that the Bentonville players showing up in jerseys that say A. Early. That is a tribute to head coach Kent Early's dad, the longtime softball coach at UA Monticello, who passed away a few years ago, Alvy Early, and they showed up in those tops without coach knowing, as a tribute to his dad. What a special moment for the Early family here today.
That is a special moment. You know, they're playing in the state championship game, but sometimes things are way bigger than just softball. We see it a lot. I'm sure that is so meaningful to see his team getting to wear those jerseys to represent his dad.
Diving stop up the middle by Derryberry. Can't finish the play at first. And Sage Teague is on to start the top half of the 7th inning, with Conway needing to score 3 runs to stay alive.
Talking about Sage Teague, that's a big at-bat right there, getting the leadoff hitter on to give her team a chance. They're down to their last 3 outs. She stays inside of this pitch, driving it back up the middle, but I mean, what hustle by Derryberry. That's a great play. This team defensively They are so athletic.
Fantastic range by Derry Berry to even get to that ball, but not able to get the throw over to Trista Peterson in time, and we will see a runner come in for Conway. That is number 7, Ariel Brooks, the junior, running for Sage Teague. And Cindy, now it becomes a question, do you try to bunch her into scoring position so that you at least get one on, or because you're down 3, do you go ahead and take your chances as you have Conrad, who hit the rocket out to left field the last time? Swinging at the first pitch. And now Conway has been doubled off as Emily Perry over to Peterson in time. We have seen it all in this game. We've seen pitching, we have seen offense, and we have seen some fantastic defense from Bentonville.
That is fantastic defense. And to go back to your question, Dorian, you know, right now I'm sure Coach Hickey is maybe wishing that she would have had her bunt, but it's a game of inches again, and this is the second at bat that Conrad has had that has been outstanding, and she's gotten her hit taken away from her.
Breland Conley on the ground to second, and that is going to do it for Bentonville as the Tigers win their 4th state championship in 5 years. They take it 3-0 over the Conway Wampus Cats.
Outstanding performance by Bentonville, pitching in the circle. Vaughn, offensively, there's been 2 hitters in this lineup that have both had home runs. Defensively, I think their defense is really what has helped them. They had a lot of balls put in play that were hit hard, but just, I mean, wow, they even went for the dog pile. We haven't seen that the past 2 games.
Well, as you know, last year's season and state championship taken away due to the COVID year, and so many of these teams, so many of these players have mentioned that being a driving force about what has motivated them this season, and all that expectation, all that loss, all that desire pouring itself out in this moment as Bentonville celebrates on the pitcher's mound a 2021 6A state title for Bentonville. And we will be back with the trophy presentation right here on Arkansas PBS Sports. Stay with us. You are watching the Centennial State Softball Championships.
Baseball, the most watched series in PBS history, is coming home.
There he goes.
See how baseball became our national pastime and why this Ken Burns series remains an American classic.
Sign up for our newsletter to be entered to win the entire Ken Burns baseball series on DVD.
Thanks, George. Appreciate it. At Big Red Stores, we're always proud to sponsor, support, and partner up with many events and activities throughout the community. Among them, high school championships throughout the state of Arkansas. At Big Red Stores, our team members are always ready to assist you to make your visit with us a pleasant one. And at Big Red Stores, we recognize that none of our support or ability to serve the community is possible without you. That's why at Big Red Stores, you're always the MVP of the Big Red team. Big Red Stores, now more convenient than ever.
1, 2, 3, turn up! Whoa. It's going up in.
The Conway Lady Wampus Cats getting their trophy as they finish in 2nd place in the 6A state championship game, falling to Bentonville 3-0. And certainly, I know they're disappointed, but nothing to hang their heads about today in their first ever state championship game in this program.
Being their first ever state championship, there is nothing to be disappointed about. This is a team full of young girls. Coach Hickey had talked about they're like kids in a candy store. They're just trying to soak up every bit of it, every moment. So nothing to hang their heads about.
And of course, on the other side, the Bentonville Tigers, the perennial powerhouse, returning to the top of the 6A Arkansas state softball landscape. As we've mentioned, their 4th state championship in the last 5 years, and they did it with outstanding pitching, outstanding hitting, and at the end, outstanding defense.
They sure did. Every aspect of their game, every aspect of this team, they all contribute so much. They know what their role is. They go out there and they get the job done. You know, Coach Early has the biggest smile on his face right now. I'm sure he is pleased as punch winning this next state championship.
It never gets old, does it? It doesn't matter how many you've won.
Oh.
It always feels new, and it always feels different.
It never gets old. You know, the 1st to the 3rd to the 5th to the, I don't know, the 6th. It all feels the same. It's just as exciting.
MVP award, Queen of the Long Ball, ladies and gentlemen, Emily Perry.
And there it is, the senior second baseman, UCA commit Emily Perry named the MVP for the 6A state softball championship. Perry 2 for 3 on the afternoon. The leadoff home run that got Bentonville on the board first. She had a double that was just a couple of inches away from going for her second home run of the day, and she really paced this Tigers offense.
She most definitely deserves MVP. She had an outstanding state championship game at the plate. She was just ultra successful, and I'm sure Coach Kewen right now, when he hears about this, he's going to be happy to hear one of his future players had a great appearance.
Coach Kewen and everyone else in Bentonville certainly loved to see the performance today by Emily Perry. We are going to have a 6A state championship recap when we come back. Don't go anywhere. You are watching the Centennial State Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Join us this summer for the second season of Blueberry's Clubhouse. We'll see a whole new crop of friends for the very best adventures in Arkansas.
Stay connected to your public media network. Text ARPBS to 313131 to receive the latest updates. Message and data rates may apply.
The Bentonville Tigers capture their 4th state championship in the last 5 years, a 3-0 win over the Conway Wampus Cats. Welcome back into the Benton Sports Athletic Complex alongside Sydney Parr. I am Dorian Kraft. Happy to have you with us. And Sydney, Emily Perry named the MVP of the 6A state championship. She was 2 for 3 with a home run and a double, but really it could have gone to one of 3 different Tigers players. It could have been Perry, it could have been Peterson, and it definitely could have been Mackenzie Vaughn, who pitched a fantastic game in what is her final high school game of her career.
Right, and what a way to end your final high school game of your career. She was stellar on the mound. Her curve, her rise, her screw, everything that she threw it with such intent. And I'm also going to point out Sarah Watson. She called a great game behind a plate. That is a lot for a catcher in this moment, calling the pitches, calling the game. Just that duo, incredible.
As we mentioned during the broadcast, Watson, just a sophomore, the only player that head coach Kent Early has ever let call her own pitches. Mackenzie Vaughn, of course, as we mentioned, complete game for the senior Missouri State commit, 5 strikeouts, and also Peterson with the big 2-run home run in the bottom of the 4th inning. That was the play that really felt like it changed the momentum of the game.
It most definitely changed the momentum. The hitters the entire game up until that point, they had great at-bats, but I think that just opened the floodgates, right? So she gets up, and we talked about Erickson throwing that rise ball consistently, and she did a great job keeping her hands above it and blasting it over the left field wall. And not only did she blast it, I mean, it didn't barely clear it. It cleared it by a long shot.
Well, we talked about the experience of Bentonville. Of course, Conway on the other side. They are coming into this game. They were the 3 seed. No real expectations for them in this game, but only 2 seniors in that starting lineup. Next year, they will have starting pitcher Caitlin Erickson back again. So we expect to see much more from Conway in the coming years.
Right, and they just have so many young players, but such young talent. They have a great 3 years out ahead of them, and I'm sure we will be seeing them again.
A great base for experience to build on. This is one that they will carry with them along with head coach Chada Hickey. And once again, for Sydney Parr, I am Dorian Kraft. We are so happy to have you with us as we have crowned 3 of our state softball championships. We have 3 more to go, and we will have a fantastic 4A game coming up later tonight between Morrilton and Pea Ridge. We hope that we will see you then.